Guys, there are spoilers for this film in this review, so if you don't want to be a victim of fate, go out, watch the film, then come back. You have been warned. Hey guys, welcome back to another week of Ticket Tuesday. I'm your host, Ron Time HD. So yeah, this is going to be a great time. Hey guys, and welcome back to an episode of Ticket Tuesday. I'm your host, Time HD, and this week we watched The Monkey, directed and written for the screen by Osgood Perkins, based on a Stephen King short story. This film, I thought, was just really fun. It was very over the top. It was ridiculous. It honestly kind of felt like Looney Tunes if it was a live action horror movie, honestly. It was just absolutely batshit insane from beginning to end. But before we go on a whole tangent about why I like this film, I'll tell you why I like this film and more back at the house.
Whoever controls it controls life and death. And those deaths are really fucked up.
Holy
Everybody dies. And that's life.
It's a goddamn mess in there. Have you been up there? It's like that restaurant. Spaghetti City.
Hey guys, and welcome back to an episode of Ticket Tuesday. I'm your host, Ronan Time HD, and this week we watched The Monkey. Anyway, this film was directed and written for the screen by Osgood Perkins, who you may know for creating Long Legs, or at least making the movie, which I was kind of mixed on. It was kind of whatever. I wasn't a huge fan of it. But this film was, well, the original story that it's based on was a short story made in 1980 by the legendary Stephen King, who I am sure I do not have to introduce. Probably one of the most famous horror writers of all time. Like, he has, I want to say 300 at least, movie adaptations, TV shows, miniseries, whatever. Pretty well known, I'd like to say, in the horror landscape, or just the writing landscape and pop culture. This film is starring Theo James, who played the old Hal and Bill. The young Hal and Bill were played by the young Hal and Bill were played by Christian Convery, I don't know how to say his name. Hal had a son in this film named Petey, who, for the record, was played by Colin O'Brien. And there was another Petey in this film, who was only in one scene. He was in the opening scene. A little cameo from Adam Scott, who you may recognize from a few other things. I believe he was in Parks and Rec. He was also in Step Brothers, but Parks and Rec is probably what you would most know him from. And of course, a small little cameo from Elijah Wood, which honestly was really funny. He was like this fucking lifestyle, fatherhood, number one expert in fatherhood, and he wrote all these books about it, and he was super weird and pretentious, and it was great. Elijah Wood is a really funny guy. He's really good at doing comedic roles, so he did a really good job in this movie. Even though he's only in one scene, he was a really memorable part for me. But with all that being said, with all the introductions being out of the way, I will say that this film overall was just a lot of fun. I think the best way to describe it is a Looney Tunes horror movie, because it is the most ridiculous horror movie I've seen in a long time. Like a big release. Obviously this film isn't a big blockbuster release, but it was it was getting pretty well advertised. It was getting pretty well up there. People are talking about it. It apparently already made back its budget, which is great. And I'm glad to see independent films like this being supported. But it's just the it's just so amazing because there is a scene in this movie where obviously like the whole idea is that the monkey is like this kind of like omen, kind of like a curse type deal, kind of like a representation of death, I guess, like an apparition maybe, where like wherever people are around, it's kind of like a Final Destination meets Looney Tunes meets The Omen, kind of, where there's like this curse, kind of, with this monkey toy, but every time it like bangs on its drums and it like hits it for the last time with its stick, every time it hits it, somebody dies in a gruesomely ridiculous, over-the-top way. And I loved it because every kill, there was not a single boring kill in this movie. Even like the background kills were ridiculous, right? Like nameless characters had incredible death scenes. They put a lot of effort into the over-the-top nonsense. Like there was a pawn shop, the first kill of the movie, the pawn shop owner just gave you a just perfect representation of what the film was like. So the monkey hit its drums, right? And then, like, it was a pawn shop, so he had, like, this diving suit that had, like, a harpoon gun on it, and it shot the harpoon out, and it went through his side, right? And I thought that was the end of it, but then it came out, and it somehow was able to stick on the end, the very, like, beginning or end of his intestines, and it just slowly pulled out his intestines from his guts. It was so fucking stupid. In a great way. Like, it wasn't a bad stupid. It was a fucking amazing stupid, right? And it just gets better from there. There's a scene where there's like, so our main character, Theo, or Hal, he's at a motel, and he's just outside talking to his brother on the phone, and then there's, like, an air conditioner gets knocked over and like electricity gets passed from a puddle into a pool, and then there's just, for some reason, in the middle of the night, there's just this woman going for a swim in the middle of the night at a motel, and then she dives in, and you'd expect, oh, maybe she gets like electrocuted a little bit. No, she fucking explodes into a ball of blood and guts. And, like, just fucking gets blood all in the pool. Her leg flies at Hal, and it's just ridiculous. Then there's another scene where there's, like, this, I guess, like, this real estate agent, I suppose. And she's kind of weird, too. She's got, like, this weird, like, makeup on that makes her, like, really pale, and she's, like, really... She's just weird and, like, kind of off-putting, I suppose. But then she opens a door... And you can hear the monkey, you can hear, like, his drum, and it opens the door, and a fucking shotgun, like, falls down, and it pulls the trigger as it falls down, and, you know, maybe in, like, a usual movie, they'd, like, fall backwards, or they'd, like, die, right? Oh, she dies, alright. She definitely dies, because she fucking, again, explodes. One normal shotgun blast just blows her up completely. Like a fucking super incendiary round. Like a fucking nuke round. Like, if you shot an animal with this thing, it would just turn into mush. Right? Like, you can't use this shotgun for any other reason than turning people into mush. And that is hilarious. And it just gets better from there, honestly. Like, I don't think anything can live up to a shotgun turning you into hamburger from one singular shot. It was just so stupid. It honestly felt like a cartoon at points. Like, it felt like an over-exaggerated cartoon, especially with, like, how the characters acted. They acted like cartoon characters. And I think that's a good thing, right? Like, it was ridiculous. It was fucking stupid, right? And as I said, in a good way, it's like a cartoon, like Looney Tunes stupid. You know, where nothing makes sense. Like, nothing has any... like, sensible reasoning. Like, even the antagonist of the movie, Bill, like, he was the antagonist from pretty much the start of the movie, because he was an asshole, right? And their mom dies because, Hal turned the key on the monkey, and he wanted him to kill Bill, but kill Bill. That was not intentional, but, turns the key, wants to kill his brother, but it kills their mom instead, and then Bill holds a grudge for, like, the rest of his life, it seems, and then he wants to get revenge on Al. He's trying to find the monkey so that he can get the monkey to kill Hal for killing his mom. And notice I didn't say their mom, his mom, because at the end of the movie, it's revealed that he's like, you know, she was my mom too. You know, I know how you're feeling. He's like, oh yeah, I didn't really think about that. He goes, yeah, she was your mom too. I didn't really think about that. Yeah, you're right. You really, you understand where I'm coming from. And literally the fact that he said, hey, I'm sad too that she died. He's like, yeah, maybe I shouldn't have gone through with this. And he's like, yeah, he's cool. We're cool now. And then his head gets crushed by a bowling ball, which earlier in the movie, Hal almost killed him with earlier. So it's a bit of a full circle moment, I guess. And it was a bit of a Final Destination moment where the guy trying to like cheat death ended up getting killed by the omen, by the embodiment of death, which is kind of cool. It's kind of cool full circle. You can't really manipulate these things, you know. It's a force in nature. It's like trying to control a tornado. Can't do it. But I do think that then the ending happened and they were just driving down the road and like the apocalypse pretty much. There's just people dying, people on fire. There was a dude impaled on a tree by a surfboard. He's a literal background death, and it's ridiculous. Like, literally, a surfboard flew at him. I don't know how it happened. I don't know how a surfboard was able to fly at him through the velocity, not only to go through a human torso, but also an entire fucking tree. Don't question these things. Don't question these things because you're never going to get an answer. And then it cut to the right, and it was a fucking woman running across the yard with a burning baby stroller. Like, the stroller was on fire. And it was ridiculous. And there was also a funny bit where the real estate agent that exploded, the cops came in and they were, like, stretching off what was left of her. And there were fucking cheerleaders just like, yeah, they showed the body, yeah. They were all just cheering. And then at the end of the movie, they all die, because they were all cheering for death, and then, boop, a truck just fucking decapitates all of them as they're, like, hanging out of a bus, Hereditary style. But, I know I'm just really describing the ridiculousness of this movie, but that's kind of the best part of the movie, right, is how fucking stupid it is, right? I mean, I do like the comedy, too. I do think it's pretty funny, while, again, the comedy is stupid, right? Like, there's a scene in the movie, there's like a funeral for their babysitter, and the priest, I doubt he's even a real priest. He looks like he's just a dude that was like pushed out there to like give a speech, and he's like high off his ass, and he has no idea what the fuck he's saying. He's like, it's life, like, it could be you, she will be missed. Gone, but she's, like, not intact. She's been separated. Just making a lot of, like, jabs at how she got decapitated. And it's just, like, ridiculous. And the pastor shows up later, and it makes me think, like, did they just, like, hire this, like, stoner off the street to, like, do a ceremony because they don't care enough about this person who's being given this funeral? Also, Osgood Perkins is in the movie, too, as Uncle Chips, who is Hal and Bill's uncle. He has, like, one scene, and he's funny in it, and then there's a really funny way that he dies. He dies in a camping accident, where 67 wild horses just trample over his body, and then he looks like crushed cherry pies once they unzip the... I think that's how they described it, like crushed apple pies or something, and they unzip it, and it's literally just, like paste. He's literally been turned into paste. Because, yeah, probably getting trampled by 67 horses would probably do that to you. They're pretty strong animals. A giant stampede would definitely fucking... It would grind you up. You'd be blended, pretty much. But anyway, I know I'm just kind of rambling here, but I just enjoyed this film because it was entertaining. And I think... I think all I really want of a movie, obviously I love, like, really deep movies. I love movies that are artistic. I mean, I'm not saying this movie isn't artistic, but, like, the really artsy-fartsy films, all the, like, really, like, cool, like, symbolism and stuff. I like that. But sometimes in a movie, I just want to be entertained. Sometimes in the movie, I just want to have fun, and I want to laugh, and I want to have a good time. Sometimes I'm in the mood to watch like a artistic art house film. Other times I'm not. But this film, I think, is a perfect example of just like going all out. I think this film is just probably one of the most entertaining horror movies I've seen this year. Maybe the past year. Because, again, it's just a good time. And I think if you enjoy Osgood Perkins' work, obviously, I wasn't a huge fan of Longlegs. I think it was just kind of whatever. It never really kicked into next gear for me. I think this film was just a really good time. And I think if you're a fan of Longlegs, this film, while not being the same experience, I do think is better than Longlegs. So I think you'd like this film even more. Even if you're not a fan of Longlegs, if you're not a fan personally of Osgood Perkins, I still think, like, if you're a fan of, I guess, Looney Tunes cartoons, if you're a fan of ridiculous, like, gory, bloody, just all the grotesque, like, all the buzzwords you can do about gore, this film is for you, man. It is just so over the top. And I think you can get enjoyment out of it. So basically what I'm saying, if you're a horror fan, like black comedy fan, I would recommend it. And with that being said, I would rate this film a 7.5 out of 10. And, yeah, I think I've said what I need to say. I think I've said my piece. So, guys, I hope you like this video. Share with friends. Subscribe. Turn those notifications on. Comment down below if you liked it. But you guys know how it goes. I didn't really mean to say that. What I really meant to say was if you guys hated this video, unsubscribe, dislike it, and shame me in the comments. And I've been Running Time HD. Off to turn the key. Dee doo doo dee doo dee doo doo dee doo 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 doo. Now you are dead. You watching this video, there is a 1 in 44 million chance that you are dead. You know, I was watching this movie, right? And it's like the monkey, even though I guess he was supposed to look scary, like I couldn't get over the fact he looked kind of funny. You know, he was just going ting 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 ting. I don't remember how the like little carnival music went, but he just looked goofy. I wanted to put him on my shelf. Have him kill anybody that walks into my house. That's a little dark, but it might be true.